Hello and welcome to the Ellie Show. Um, or Pixels Unboxes, the Avermedia um, Live Gamer Ultra continuation of my unboxing from yesterday. Um, I'm actually keep these videos up maybe for a few more days before making them Patreon exclusive. Um, but anyway, so this is interesting. It came to me basically. It wasn't in another box. It was just like wrapped and had the address on it, so I had to unwrap it to prevent myself from accidentally doxing myself. Um, but anyway, uh, I found out from a tech um, friendly friend of mine. I shared that with him that I got it, and I'm gonna go ahead and close Google Chrome. I'm not sure if that's gonna help or not, but there you have it. But anyway, that he was surprised that I could get this with all the I guess shortages that have been going on. Um, Actually, on Best Buy, this is like sold out. So I got this from Amazon. It may or may not be still be available. It is not sponsored, so I I'll recommend it if it's good. One thing I can't recommend, um, lowly enough, is go ahead and unplug the whole thing. I'm not gonna probably need it anymore. Is this um, bad boy? I think I can call it a bad boy because it is like literally it's bad. It's not good. It is literally a bad boy. It's also backwards because I'm mirroring everything. But it's also upside down. So there you go. I should this isn't mirrored on the screen. Nelly's checking out. Like, why are you holding that up? Is it a toy? Is it for me? Okay, so it isn't mirrored. Yeah, it's the Elgato HD60. It's, um, I mean, it's good if you know how to, um, if you set things up properly. If you don't mind going through extra trouble to compensate for lag, um, it's fine. Um, but basically, yeah, there's like 1.5 to 2 seconds of lag between what you're playing and what shows up in the preview, and basically what um, uh, is streamed to you folks out on internet land. So basically, your commentary is always a little offset from what's actually happening uh, on the screen. It, that's being captured, and that's kind of um, shitty. Uh, and let me see if I can bring up. Uh, so this is something I found in maybe a Reddit post or something. Um, this is a comparison of all of the capture card input latency to preview in OBS. It's updated May 2nd of 2019. And you'll notice that the HD60 is not on here, and actually according to that thread, it's because the latency was literally off the chart. Like it's, I believe 100 is like, I think most time is like 100 per second. So yeah, um, heck, even the top one on here is still kind of it's off the chart sort of, but yeah, I guess it doesn't approach the Elgato gaming thing, which is probably around 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds. I never actually bothered to clock it, and I would probably need to clock it in order to uh, be able to compensate for it. So we have a bunch of different things. There is an Avermedia device called the Avermedia, which is probably closest to the Elgato in terms of latency. And there's a bunch of different things, and on top of something I had considered, which is the Live Gamer 4K, that would have been I think about $50 more than what this thing is going for. The problem is it's an internal card. Um, and it's PCI Express, so it's kind of you have to open it up and plug it, slide it in. It's probably fairly easy to install a lot of PCI Express stuff. I mean, it's kind of the whole point of that standard. But I haven't had very good luck installing it myself. Uh, um, like I mentioned it before in some of my other streams, but I have two things hooked up to the well, I only have two PCI Express slots free from my PC that I got pre-built. Um, and both of them are occupied, but I could take one or both of them out because I have a USB thing which is mixed with regard to whether or not how much ends up working. And I have a Sound Blaster card supposed to output 5.1 surround sound to a set of speakers I have, which I probably, I'm not sure how good how having a home theater will do in an apartment like mine. So, um, but it's nice to have as a thing potentially for the future. But it doesn't seem to work. I don't know if I didn't plug it in right or if there's some extra stuff I need to do to get it to install properly. But anyway, yeah, I had trouble getting it to work. The other problem is that, well, there's a few other things. Um, One is something I'd be considering and may actually do if this ends up solving the lag problem. Um, is uh, basically I have a laptop. I can hook this up to my laptop and use it to capture games from my PC, and that actually might be a fairly smart thing to do. I do favor PC games to some extent, at least when I compare to starting creation, particularly when I had this thing, um, because of the lag. Because I like to comment on things as they're happening. The only problem I've run into is with some slightly newer games like Resident Evil 2, the Resident Evil 2 remake, is that basically I had it like fairly high settings, and the stream has actually been I think private. I think I made the stream private because we actually looked at it. The actual preview, like what actually came out, was actually much lower frame rate, lot more stuttery than what I was actually seeing out for myself on my computer. So I think that basically running high-end games bottlenecks OBS's ability to output the video. So by having a dedicated a laptop that's basically dedicated to processing the stream, um, I think that will work much better. And be much more efficient, and then I can run, games at max settings for what my PC can actually handle, without having to worry about it bottlenecking OBS's ability to output and to actually output to you find people on the internet. So with this, I should not have to worry as much about lag, and it should be a more viable option um, to stream games from my beefy gaming machine without having to turn down the settings to remove the bottleneck. Um, so I'm going back to the latency thing. So it's all the way at the high end of things. It's 36 milliseconds of latency. Now, but there's a few things. There's several things actually between this. I'm pointing to it. I don't know how I can. Let me see if I can put this underneath the webcam. There we go. So let's see if I can. Actually, need to move the webcam a little bit so I can do a weather forecaster thing here. So, as you can see, Elgato is way up here. The Elgato HD60 is way up here, off the chart. And let's see, the Avermedia 4K. Let me actually move this over here. No, I don't want to move that. I want to move this. Okay. Okay, there's all sorts of elements here. Hey, Ellie. She's like, what are you doing? I'm being a weather forecaster. Okay. I'm playing weather forecaster. So, let's see here. I need to move this back up. Here. And let me see here. I probably can't even read where these things are, so. So basically, I probably should just sit down. It's a lot easier. Although there's a kitty in my chair now, so. Say hi to Ellie, internet. You can say hi to Ellie in the comments. Irving was actually watching the chat. You should say hi to Ellie. But okay, this actually works. So this is where. This is why I normally mirror things. So this is where the top end thing is, which is the Avermedia. That's the one that actually would be in my PC. And again, there's some practical concerns, because like my entertainment center is over here. My PC is kind of off camera. Well, it's off camera regardless, but where I'm pointing to, like, it starts here. This is where I'd have to plug it in. The back of my PC is about here-ish. You see? Yeah, I'm just laying it. Yeah, it's here-ish, and my entertainment center is like all the way, even further off camera. Over there. So, like my PS4, which is the main thing I use, is like all the way over there. So like I need some very long HDMI cables to like plug into the back of my PC. So that's an issue. And then they like string it all the way back to my TV for the output. So I feel that that's not really viable. And again, like I said, I can stream from my laptop. Portability is sort of a benefit. Now, if I can find it, so we have, see, this is weird. Not look. That's why things get mirrored, because I'm used to looking at myself in the mirror, so I'm used to my yeah. Anyway, that's like why selfie cameras are mirrored, because that's what we're used to. That's where our brains are calibrated towards. So this is what that would give me. Now, what I got is here, the Avermedia Live Gamer Ultra. So let's move that back up and make it full screen again so you can see it more clearly. So if you can't see the numbers, the one that's actually built into my PC would be 36 milliseconds, and the Avermedia Light Gamer Ultra is at 35, or no, 55. So it's like it would shave. Let's just do some quick math here. it has shaved 19 milliseconds off of my off of the lag. Now, as it stands already, if we were to just assume for the sake of this that the Live Gamer Mini is at where is roughly where Elgato is, and Elgato is actually probably more than that. Um, he's probably at least second and a half, which would be 150. 55 is like a third of the lag that I experience um, with the Elgato. So like that's already a huge difference. Um, like this is less a second, almost half a second. Um, Also, you could be like, well, why don't you get any of the things in between the Avermedia Live Gamer Ultra and the Live Gamer 4K? Well, I've looked at most of these, and I think almost all of them, um, including I think maybe even the HD60 Pro, um, all of these, I think there's only one of them. It's the Pengo. Is 4K. The Magewell is 4K. Um, Moko's maybe, um, but like all the ones, well, I think I looked at most of them, if not all of them, and basically my point is that and let's go ahead and take that away. Um, go ahead and move this back here. Okay. Uh, um, my point is that most of the ones that rate as having less lag than this are either also internal or they're external, but they don't have 4K HDR pass through, which is probably the main thing I want. I wanted 4K HDR pass through, both to future proof this and also for currently, because the PS4 can output HDR. Um, the ability to output HDR is in the present, is a benefit for the present, and um, uh, it can the main other difference between the internal one that's a fair amount more expensive, not necessarily like prohibitively more expensive, but it is still notably more expensive. Um, $50 isn't like anything to sneeze at. You know, I could have, with regard to my stimulus, I probably could have shifted the budget a little bit to make it work, but yeah. My point is, uh, this thing has like there's only two benefits to having the internal one above this, um, which would be it can it's let's see like 19 milliseconds faster um, in terms of latency, and um, it can capture in full 4K 60 FPS. Um, and the thing is that being able to capture full 4K 60 FPS, um, being the only benefit besides lower latency, slightly lower latency, is it's not something I really need. I stream, and currently you can't stream at 4K. This can capture. I didn't even notice this. According to the top here, this can capture in 4K, 30 frames per second. So if I really wanted to capture something in 4K, I can. But again, I don't have. I mentioned before, but I don't think I mentioned this particular stream. I don't have uh, that much hard drive space. If I was actually going to capture it I guess a Let's Play or something. Um, and and this can actually pass. This has 60 frames per second pass through, so that's good. Um, and for 1080p, it has 120 frames per second, which is what I'm going to be doing anyway. So, um, anyway, so this is what the features are according to the back of the box. It has 4K 60 frames per second HDR pass through, 4K 30 frames per second video capture if I should want to do that. Um, and I mean, the other thing is that, like, if I was going to stream it at that resolution, uh, now, granted, it's possible I might try capturing it 4K, see how well that works. It could still create a bottleneck, particularly for it still could create a little bit of a bottleneck. We'll have to see, for like with regard to OBS, particularly if I'm doing it, like on a PlayStation 5. Um, whenever I manage to get one. Uh, um, but there is a benefit to having things rendered at 4K and then downscaled to um, to 720, so or 1080 or whatever resolution end up going at. Right now I'm doing 720, which I mean is good because I have limited data caps. Although I do believe my ISP has raised their data caps a little bit. But anyway, um, this has, but I also take a fairly significant frame hit to do that, so I'm not sure. Um, I do believe my stream outputs. I don't know what frame rate my stream actually outputs at. It might be 60 frames per second or could be 30. I had to look at that. It has a USB 3.1 connection. I'm going to make sure that I plug this into a USB free, at least a USB free port. Um, and it has RE Central, which allows me to record and stream 4K content. I don't know what the heck that is. Yeah, that's it. It advertises Twitch and YouTube on there, which are the two platforms I stream to simultaneously through Restream. It should be compatible with OBS, although I'm going to probably shut down the stream to configure it. And I will probably be streaming some more Final Fantasy VII. I've been sort of postponing it just for various reasons, but also, kind of one of my excuses is that I don't have this thing yet. So I really want to, make my 6th episode special by. So we take this out of the box, we get another. Inside the box is another box. It says Avermedia, and it's otherwise black. So then we have one of those little like circular hinge things. I don't know what the term will be. So you'll get to see it before I do. Well, essentially, I'll see it too. um, I had to get to see it at the same time that you do, but yeah. You can compare it dimension-wise to the Elgato. It's roughly the same size, maybe a little bit smaller. It's actually taller, like roughly twice as tall, but a little skinnier, a lot more boxy, and apparently it like lights up through the vents. It's very well ventilated, which actually is potentially a problem with the HD60. Like there's literally no like I think there's literally no ventilation on here. And I imagine that the trade-off for having no ventilation is that it's like I imagine it's like just so crappy that it doesn't need ventilation. Like that's probably part of the reason why it's so slow. So they didn't bother like adding like a heat sink or any kind of uh, ventilation to it because they don't need to because it has so much lag. It's not fast enough to need ventilation. Um, People can just offset their webcam and audio to um, to compensate, and I'd rather not have. I'm too lazy to do that. It costs. So we have a little a power director, 15 product key card, um, a 1-year warranty, a survey thing, and then the quick guide. It doesn't. It actually does come with an HDMI cable. It may actually be 4K and HDR. It's a high-speed HDMI cable, so it should. Um, so if the cable coming from my PS4 can output HDR, then it I should be able to. So that's the output, and then the USB cable proper. You'll be able to hear Ellie playing for Turbo Scratcher in the background. Let's see how long the USB cable is. It's probably, hopefully it's long enough. Face a USB-C. Not quite as long as the HDMI cable, but anyway, let's look for where the Elgato USB. That's Nintendo. That's an HDMI cable, probably from my this is probably from the Elgato. Let's trace it back so we can unplug it and yep, there we go. Now the Elgato does have a very long USB cable. Let's actually, where did I put the Avermedia one? There it is. So, anyway, this is part of what causes all the lag. Like there's this. It's probably about like 3 feet, and then the other one, which I think is actually it might be like micro HDMI. I guess whatever the PS3 uses. I think yeah, it's a 3-foot cable versus a 6-foot cable. So it has a shorter USB cable. Hopefully it's not going to be an issue. The HDMI cable, I'm estimating maybe like 4 feet. So I don't know if the ports on the front of my PC are 3.0 or not. It's kind of hard to see. Because they're lit up, which should make it easier to see, but technically. Let's see here. Here's the freaking USB thing. Um, but like the white kind of washes out whatever's actually there, and I got a bunch of crap in the way, so I can't really tell. Like, if I had to plug it in the back, that's gonna like completely defeat the purpose. Like from this angle, I can't tell if the connector is side is blue or looks like it might be blue. They're not even labeled as being like 3.0 or. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the heck this is. Yeah. Doesn't look any different. I see a bit of blue, but like the ring around it is like a light blue, so I can't tell if any blue I'm seeing is. Um, I might actually have to look up like the model of my PC to like tell uh, which ports are 3.0. So pixels. That's the hard drive. How do I look at my? Oh, yeah, I can go to PC properties. Server power PC. Um, I can't even copy the product ID. Um, Dang it. I hate Firefox that it don't have as many. I have to go to Google because it's being as a default search engine for some reason. No. Um, yeah, I'm looking at the product ID, but I don't think that's actually helping. And that's have 16 gigabytes or 8 gigabytes RAM. I have 16. No, I don't want to shop for one. I want to find out. It's been actually help me at all. Like, I want to know exactly what the model number is. I'd rather not have to plug it into the back because I have a bunch of stuff in the back, and there are USB 3.0 ports on my USB hub, which is plugged into one of the front ones, but I don't know if the front ones are USB 3.0 normally or not. This is basic information about my computer. How do I find... I want to change... Oh, that's Windows product ID. Okay, so that's not even the ID of the... that's probably why I didn't find anything. Uh, Dang it, I just want to know which ports are USB 3.0. Okay, well, I guess the unboxing is done. I'm going to be figuring out where the USB 3.0 ports are, so I make sure I plug it into a port that can fully utilize the speed of the card. So, thanks for watching. Here's a Patreon you can go to and become a supporter for as little as $1 per month, and we have a new system in place for that. That's you should check out for more details. You can go to patreon.com/pixelsplays. Of course, there's a bunch of other things you can do. Save a few seconds of your time. Please consider this as well, or even in lieu of supporting us on Patreon. There's Minecraft World we can check out. And we have a producer man who came up with the original design for mascot and all that. So, in any case, thanks for watching. Until next time, sayonara.